Agent of Foxglove Ingobnito by Lark Sabre. Read by Lark Sabre. Chapter 17. Home. Get in, Agent Hobby. We'll be seen by Godbuzz if we dilly-dally around here too long, ordered Agent Wildflower from inside the roadstall. I can't, Agent Wildflower. I'm goblin size, remember? I won't fit. Oh yeah, conceded Agent Wildflower and waved her wand. Hunter felt the first sensation of suction he associated with shrinkage, like a couple of filter-feeding ocean creatures had their circular mouths pressed against the soles of Hunter's Mike Air trainers. After a few tingly seconds of being enshrouded in fairy dust sparkle, Hunter was the right size to clamber aboard the roadstool. He sat down, feeling more than a little worn out, as the four-part circular door rotated shut behind him with a space-age whir. The roadstool submerged like a mushroom-shaped submarine into the turbid poop soup. Pure murk peered back at the boy through the round windscreen, aside from the occasional indestructible kernel of sweet corn blithely floating by. First-rate work, Agent Hobby. Absolutely sterling. Nobody would know you were a rookie. We've got more intel from your one mission than we would have gathered in 6 months' worth of overhead spy flights and stakeouts in the roadstool. We were monitoring transmissions from your walkie-talkie back at the deep sea all along, Agent Wildflower congratulated him. Did you hear that the Gobblers were planning to target humans once they'd finished with you fairies, Agent Wildflower? I did, and that was news to us. It just goes to show how powerful this gobverter doohickey of theirs is. By the wafer-weave wings of dainty King Oberon, that Bogsy Sigil was a genius, no question about it. Perhaps even smarter than Dr. Nutkinstein, replied Agent Wildflower. He's probably killed far fewer poor ickle squirrels too, thought Hunter bitterly, for he was quite fond of squirrels, the ickle tickle-tailed scamps. Yes, Agent Wildflower. Well, I must admit, they could be friendly at times, but those goblins have to be stopped. They could cause all kinds of chaos if they unleash their goblin dust upon the world. I don't want my mum and Jerop to be turned into croak rats and Winnebago slugs. Frogs and snails, I mean. Though I do feel sorry for the goblins living in the sewers. Well, they brought it on themselves, I'm afraid, Agent Hobby. You know they used to devour fairlings and elflings, right? Yes, Agent Wildflower, and that's not very nice. Not very nice at all. And I think one of them might have broken my Nintendo Switch whilst I was asleep. They might possess a certain rough charm, and it's often the way that undercover agents begin to feel some sympathy for the group they're infiltrating. But you're an agent of F.O.X.G.L.O.V.E now, Agent Hobby, and the mission is paramount. If you should start to waver, just think of your mum living on a lily pad and eating flies, or Jerop with slimy long antenna eyes nibbling on a lettuce. I will, Agent Wildflower, I will. By now, the roadstool had been amphibiously chugging through the sanitation system's heart of dankness for a good 10 minutes. And not dank in the cool sense, like a dank meme, but in the horrible old-school sense of a dank sewer. But Hunter was as conscious of the time as the slime. Look, Agent Wildflower, I've helped F.O.X.G.L.O.V.E as much as I can for one day, but I'm going to get grounded or be banned from playing Roblox on my iPad if Mum thinks I've run off. I know the fate of both fairykind and humankind rest on my shoulders, but I want to go trick-or-treating tonight too, and my tummy's rumbling. As if to confirm the truth of what he was saying, Hunter's stomach instantaneously gurgled with deprivation. No, that's fine, Agent Hobby. You've done more than enough for one day. We're going back to Braddock's Meadow via a different route, though. Straight out the sewage outlet pipe into the River Braddock, and from there I'll put a foot on it. We'll be back at the, back of your garden in no time. And as for your mum, don't worry. I've got a spell for that. You're not going to turn my mum into a frog or a snail or, I don't know, a Cornish pasty with blonde hair, are you? Asked Hunter a little apprehensively. Of course not, Agent Hobby. Though you did say you were hungry. Unlike the Godbers, we bear humans no grudges. Let's just say, have you ever entered a room looking for something, but then forgotten what it is you're actually searching for? Nope. And it was true. Hunter's memory never failed him, even when it came to his SATs tests at school. Kids have phenomenal memories, though they often don't realise it because their spanking new brains don't let them down much in the first place. No, I guess you're too young for that. You'll see what I mean. Your mum won't know a thing. Besides, time moves faster at the scale of fairies and goblins. You might think you've been here for ages, but it'll be under an hour of your human time to Mrs. Hobby and your brother Cherub. Oh, okay. By the way, it's Cherub. Well, even so, if I've gone missing for an hour, Mum will still be... Hey, what did you mean the sewage pipe into the river? Is the River Braddock full of poo, then? Oh, yes, said Agent Wildflower, matter-of-factly. You humans are almost as grubby as goblins, perhaps more so. You're always pumping poo into the rivers and seas, especially in your country, England. Hopping hobgoblins, thought Hunter. Maybe humans really are the skankiest species on the planet. Well, I'm not going swimming in the river ever again. Not that I can swim more than 20 meters yet anyway. As if to prove Agent Wildflower's point, the evil espresso black-brown murk they were submarinating in became more diluted and cloudy, more of a questionable silty caramel in colour. The odd sweet corn kernel was replaced by the odd queasy-looking and undersized fish. See, we've already gone through the sewage pipe whilst you were wittering on, and we're in the River Braddock now. Time to surface and get you home, Agent Wildflower chirpily informed Hunter, and pressed the green button flashing on the dashboard. It bore an arrow pointing upwards, the function of which wouldn't take a genius like F.O.X.G.L.O.V.E to work out. Hunter seemed to remember Agent Wildflower had done her fair share of wittering on too, but he was pleased to be out of the sewers. He was even more pleased when the roadstool suddenly emerged from the semi-sewery waters of the River Braddock, cutting through the sluggishly flowing river like a mushroom-shaped speedboat. Familiar territory. Agent Wildflower switched from amphibious mode to all-terrain mode as the roadstool mounted the riverbank and zipped along to the molehill in Braddock's meadow at the breakneck pace favoured by Agent Wildflower. Worried about his mum worrying, Hunter favoured a breakneck pace on this occasion too. Once upon the molehill, Agent Wildflower pressed another button on the dashboard, this time a blue one with a cyclone-like motif printed on it. The roadstool started to spin around on top of the soil mound like a drill piece, the mushroom stalk chassis of the roadstool's body burrowing itself into the molehill as it rotated. Inside the roadstool, Hunter felt like he was on the roundabout in the park when his dad was pushing it with all his might after Hunter requested the utmost speed, only to regret it. Though his dad seemed to get dizzy even more quickly than Hunter did, and would retire with cheeks like royal gala apples to the park bench to scroll through his smartphone to recover. He was usually checking Colonel Clothesline's Twitter feed, or reading reviews of movies with fighting explosions and guns, new to the cinema or Netflix. No, nearly done, stuttered Agent Wildflower, her fairy face one long, pancaked and pixie-ish blur. And then it was done. The roadstool had corkscrewed beneath the molehill and was zipping along the abandoned tunnel. Zoosh! It wouldn't be long now. We're not going back to the deep sea garage this time. We're going to pop out of a molehill at the back of your garden. Then I'll resize you back to human stature in a jiffy, said Agent Wildflower. But you're going to have to come back to the DFCC tomorrow for a debriefing with me and Packington X. But tomorrow I said I'd go to Lefty's house or hovel or Fatberg Cave or whatever you call a Godberg Gabbo's gaff. That'd be perfect. Come to the DFC for your debriefing and then you can meet Mr. Licino afterwards. Limping leprechauns, Hunter grumbled within the privacy of his mind. I wanted to play Roblox on my iPad tomorrow, and now I've got to go undercover again. Being a secret agent is worse than school. But I don't want Boss Brasco transforming everyone I know into ribbiting fly munchers or squelchy shell dwellers with his gobverter, do I? The roadstool virtually flew up the out-ramp and exited a molehill in the hobby's garden, which Hunter had never noticed before, spraying soil as it did so. In fact, Hunter had never seen a molehill in his back garden at all. Perhaps most molehills weren't even made by moles, but F.O.X.G.L.O.V.E agents piercing the ground with soil-churning fanfare in roadstools. The roadstool skidded to a halt behind the bush bordering the fence at the rear of the hobby's garden, the fence they shared with old man Horrocks, who was no doubt still crunching crisps, muttering at old game shows on his enormous telly. He'd probably watched the reruns so often he knew the answers to the questions by heart. Lucky old man Horrocks, oblivious to how the fates of human and fairy kind hung in the balance. The quarters of the white wart door spun open in their snazzy synchronized fashion, but just as Hunter was vacating the roadstool with relief, Agent Wildflower had one last request. Agent Hobby, could you please leave that Bogsy amulet Mr. Licino lent you with me, so we can get Dr. Nutkenstein to analyse it back at the lab? Yep, of course I can. Here it is, Agent Wildflower, though I might need it back tomorrow before I visit Lefty, in case he asks for it, you see. No, of course. That's smart thinking, Agent Hobby. F.O.X.G.L.O.V.E. thinking. You get out now and enjoy your strange human custom of treating and tricking. But remember, it's imperative you meet me at the bottom of the garden at 1200 hours tomorrow. I'll wave my wand and resize you when you're out. And don't worry about your mum. I've got it covered. Hunter smiled exhaustedly and bid Agent Wildflower farewell. The minute he was out of the roadstool, he experienced the by now expected sensation of somebody hoovering his hair as he shot up to the height of a 7 3/4-year-old human boy again. As he did so, twigs prodded him and leaves swished against him. A bush really wasn't the best location for such dramatic growth spurt. He removed and pocketed his mask and upsized fey bands, stumbled out of the bushes, and was immediately confronted by his mum, with Jerop standing rather aimlessly behind her, his hand gripping the back of a lower thigh for lack of an apron string. "Hunter Hobby, I've been looking for you for 25 minutes straight, out of my mind with worry, and you've been hiding in the bushes all this time, though I'm sure I checked there. Well, that's it. No trick-or-treating tonight, or iPads, and no Robux allowance at the weekend. And when your dad gets home, I'm..." But before his mother could proceed with her fairly ferocious, stressed-out telling off, golden glittery freckles from nowhere momentarily danced across her eyes and face like sunshine. Her enraged expression was replaced by one of dozy, low-key bewilderment, a sudden daze. Well, what am I doing out here in the garden? Kids, well, what time is it? Ooh, I've had a bit of a funny turn. I can't remember for the life of me what I came out here for. Come on, boys, let's go in and have tea, and then we'll get ready to go trick-or-treating. Don't get old, boys. Your memory turns to Swiss cheese, laughed Mrs. Hobby a little uneasily as she ushered Hunter and Jerop indoors. Mission accomplished, Agent Wildflower, thought Hunter to himself, and smirked a little smirk, a barely detectable smirk, a secret agent smirk. He was beginning to learn that his own face could be as much of a mask as ones that cost $3.99 from Morrison's, a valuable lesson in life, and not just for undercover operatives.